All right, so I feel like boxed cake mixes have a bad rap. So I want to give you some tips and tricks on how to make your box cake mix taste like a homemade cake from scratch. So the first thing I do is I try to use like name brand. You can use the off brand, but I don't know. I typically spend the extra 20 cents and get the nicer brands. And then I use coconut oil instead of vegetable oil. It needs to be at room temperature or melted like this. So if it's solid in the tub of coconut oil, I just microwave it at like half power until it's a nice liquid consistency. And you're just going to swap it out for the exact same amount. So this one calls for a half cup oil. So instead of using like canola oil or soy oil or vegetable oil, I always use coconut oil. And eggs, I like to use real eggs, I call them. They're like legit from my neighbor, like they were laid by a chicken yesterday. But if you have to use store-bought eggs, if you don't have awesome neighbors like me, then use brown eggs. Use as organic or as close to organic as you can at the grocery store. The combination of the coconut oil and the organic eggs is just going to make it that much better. My next piece of advice for you on your boxed cake mix is follow the recipe exactly. If, for example, it says beat cake mix, water, oil, and eggs in a bowl with mixer on medium speed for 2 minutes. Really do this. Don't mix it for 30 seconds till it's mixed and then put it in the oven. Set a timer, mix it for the full 2 minutes on a medium speed, not on low, not on high. Don't over mix it for 5 minutes on high. Do exactly what it says. And then don't over bake it. If you're doing like a really heavy stackable cake, fine, over bake it. But if you're doing like cupcakes for someone's birthday party, then you want them to be soft. You don't want them to be overcooked. So I always start, if it says recommended 19 to 23 minutes, I always start like 2 minutes less. So I'm gonna set my oven for 17 minutes, pull them out, stick the toothpick in it. If it comes out clean, then I'm just gonna pull them out. If it comes out a few little things on it and it still needs a minute, I'm gonna give it like 1 or 2 more minutes. But don't overcook them. Let's see, what was my next tip on those? Hi.
Hi.
He just really wants to be on camera. Okay, I remember the other thing I wanted to tell you. Leave it in the container or in the cupcake pan for, like it says, 10 to 15 minutes. Don't leave it in there longer than that. Don't pull it out less than that. So again, set a timer after you pull it out of the oven for about 10 minutes and then pull the cupcakes out of the pan, set them on the counter because they're going to finish cooking a little bit in that pan. Also, do not take your cupcakes out of the oven and then stick it on top of the oven. If your oven's like mine, it's still radiating heat out of the top of it, and it's going to continue to cook those cupcakes, and they're going to be overcooked. So, quick recap, don't be afraid of the boxes. I don't care what people say, they still make really good cakes. I will serve this one, and nobody will have any idea. They're going to think I made it from scratch. Coconut oil and brown eggs, and follow the instructions exactly. Don't over mix it, don't under mix it. And once I get the batter out to scoop, I'll show you a little more. Okay, this recipe, it gives you 2 options. It says one option is 3 whole eggs and the other option is 4 egg whites. If you don't understand what the difference is, it's gonna come out white if you use egg whites. It is going to have a yellow tint if you put in the yolk because it's yellow. So if you really truly want a white cake, then you need to do the egg whites. If you don't care, half the time I just do the 3 whole eggs. But the people that I'm making this for, I know they're kind of health conscious. So I'm going to do egg whites and not the 3 full eggs. So if you have one of these tools, this is really handy. It's plastic. I don't know, it probably costs a couple dollars. You crack the egg over this and it will separate the yolk out and drop the egg whites in for you. Or you can just crack the egg in half and then cradle the yolk back and forth until just the white stuff comes off, and then you throw away the yolk in the carton. So there's your advice on the egg whites versus whole eggs. So all I'm doing is scooping it up, scraping the bottom on the sides, dropping it in. That way it won't spill batter all over here. It kind of keeps it contained.
Yeah, so I'm Swayze and that's Julia.
And Swayze says, she's Swayze and I'm Julia. In case you don't know who I am, I'm sure you all... See, this was after 17 minutes. And they look really good. They look pretty even. And I don't know if the lighting's going to show, but they even look a little brown. Perfect. So I'm going to leave them in here for 10 minutes and then take them out and put them on the counter. But remember, I'm not going to leave them on my stove. I'm going to move them over onto my island on a hot pad.